So from APD, we have the Internal Affairs Professional Standards Division and the Internal Affairs Force Division, and I will turn this over to them so that they can deliver the report that they sent. So whoever is this Commander Cottrell?
Yes, hello, Dr. Cass. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm well. How are you? So
I'm
welcome.
good.
And,
Thank you. Hello, Dr. Cass, other board members. I'm Commander Zach Cottrell from Internal Affairs Professional Standards. I think you guys all have a copy of our monthly report for the month of November. I'll go through it real quick and then see if you guys have any questions. We did complete a total of 13 cases in Internal Affairs that are out for chain of command review for their review and recommended discipline. We did have a total of 20 cases opened up in Internal Affairs that we kept, and another 60 cases that were opened up and sent out to division heads or area commanders for their investigation, and those are just the minor misconduct investigation. We did have a total of 17 that we carried over from November to December that are still under investigation. The one case that we did have completely closed out in the month of November with discipline imposed is listed below. It's I-33520, and it did involve a harassment complaint at the police academy where a cadet made a remark to another cadet that was sustained, and he was given 8-hour suspension, and there was a reporting issue with the misconduct within the chain of command over there, and there was also discipline issued to them. So that's all we had for the month of November. If anyone has any questions.
Are there any questions from the board regarding Commander Cottrell's report? I see no board member raising their hand, but if you are and I haven't found you, please unmute yourself. If no one has a question, I'm curious as to what's the number of cases that are currently open or in under investigation within IA. I see that you carried over a substantial number from November, so there must be carryover from previous months, and there must be some kind of a cumulative total of cases that you're investigating.
Yeah, I believe it's 42 right now within Internal Affairs that we are currently investigating, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you. Seeing no other questions, we'll move to, I believe, is it Lieutenant Frick? Did I get?
Officially, yes, sir. That's correct. I guess I'll introduce myself because I am new here, and I don't think I've met most of you. I am officially Lieutenant Sean Frick. I've, however, for about the past month, been placed into the role of acting commander for the Internal Affairs Force Division. So I'm still getting settled in there and learning a lot, but I've been finding it's been actually quite enjoyable. I'll present our monthly force report, and then, like Commander Cottrell, I'll just open it up to any questions if the board has any. For the month of November, citywide, we had 67 total force incidents. The Valley Area Command had the most with 16, and Northeast and Southeast both tied behind that at 15. We typically look at about the number of calls per 1,000 calls for service when really evaluating these numbers. Generally across the board, all floating around about 2 force incidents per 1,000 calls, which is pretty average for what we see throughout the year. Northwest this month did have significantly fewer uses of force. They only had 3. It might just be an anomaly. Southwest last month only had 2, but this month they've had more. So not really sure what's going on there, other than maybe how things happened to fall for the past month. Most common call types associated with force events for this past month, the top 2 are family disputes and then disturbances. Again, pretty common with what we see throughout the year. So that's our November monthly force report, and again, I'm open to questions if anybody has any.
Is there any board member that has a question for Acting Commander Frick?
I have a question.
ahead.
Commander, do you have information longitudinally? I mean, how does this compare over, say, the last year? Are those incidents going down? Are they static, or are they going up?
Staying pretty static. I mean, we do see some fluctuation. I'm assuming you all have the November report. If not, I can either share my screen or send it to you. Down at the bottom, there is a historical tracking by Area Command over the last year. Again, we see some fluctuation. Like typically in the summers, we see them go up. I think just more people are out, and so therefore more opportunities for crime, and so we do see more force events over the summer. However, they're tracking pretty consistently. Again, like this month, Valley had a little bit more, I'd say, than average. It's something we would have to keep an eye on, though, see if that trend continues or if it just happens to be an anomaly.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Acting Commander Frick?
Yes, Chair Cass, I do have a question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, on that subject that Member Mitchell broached there, I think one thing that would be useful potentially for us to see at some point in the future with these reports is a little bit more of a comparison. The inter-year report is useful, certainly, but I think that it's hard for us to grasp how these things are changing over longer periods of time. So, for example, we can compare this November to last November, but that's as far back as we can go. Mm-hmm. I don't know that we necessarily need I guess we do need a month by month going back more. But I just think it would be useful for us to see a little bit further in the mirror than 1 year.
Sure. We recently published the annual use of force data report, and that data goes actually all the way back to 2016. So from 2016 through 2019, capturing those 3 years of data. I don't know if you all have seen it yet, and I can try to answer questions on that. And it's also something that we can present in future meetings, and I can have my data analyst who authored that report also attend for questions. But I think that would hopefully capture more of that. And I think it's also that formatting of tracking over the years is something we want to continue in the future because it's also well received by the monitoring team for that reason. It helps show changes over years as opposed to just months.
Yeah, I think that would be useful, and hopefully we can follow up with you as a board about getting a more detailed report on that. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Sure.
Any other member have a question for Acting Commander Frick? I have I see no other questions. I have a question. It's not quite on your report, but as I'm sure you're well aware, we've been in the process of reviewing serious use of force cases, and that information, starts with your investigation and review, or your division's investigation and review. And we were briefed back almost a year ago now by the previous IA commander and staff regarding the investigative process and and the forms that were filled out. And this is the kind of information that is, as I understand, presented to the Force Review Board. And it was also my understanding that this would be the same information that we would receive from IAFD in order to review these same cases. And I remember specifically the context of, we had quite a discussion. It was a several-hour training. It was about a 4-hour training, I believe. And we had a discussion about the extent of information that was in these kind of reports. And I was concerned about what the length of time would be to review these kinds of cases. And I was assured, because it was such a well-organized system now, and I believe it is, and what was presented was well-organized, that given that information, we would have no problem going through these cases. So, but we don't get that information. We don't get that original underlying investigative report that the FRB sees. And I think this is some issue out there, and I'm not sure where it resides, whether it's at City Legal or whether it's within APD. But I just wanted to raise it with you because you're the most, you're closest at hand in terms of a point of contact that can have some impact on this. So I guess I'm just explaining the situation as we see it. I think we've made it a point that in court and other places that we would like to, we think we should be seeing this information, and so I'm just giving you that same report that was presented in court on last Friday, person to person. So, if you have any comment, I'm interested. We'd be very interested in hearing it.
No, absolutely. I appreciate the feedback. Unfortunately, I don't have an answer. Again, I've only been here for about 4 weeks, so I just generally don't know. So it's something that I will certainly have to research, and I can look into that in coordinate with City Legal and see if or what we can provide to you all, and make sure that happens. Yes, I wish I had more of an answer for you, but I promise you I'll certainly look into it, and we'll see what we can do to improve moving forward and give you guys as much information as we possibly can.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, certainly, part of this is, certainly getting a lot of attention in the community lately, and I think we're all trying to figure out how to best address these issues. So, I appreciate your connection, getting back to this or looking into this for us. Member Olivas, did you have your hand up to?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on what you said there, just as an example to the public that may be listening, and to Lieutenant Frick here. With one of the use of force cases that we'll be reviewing tonight, it was a fatal use of force, and I believe the board got about 1 minute or less of footage of an incident that went on for, according to the description of the incident, it may have gone on for over 12 hours. So I think that the amount of information that we're getting, particularly that kind of video footage, is scarce at best. So I think it's an issue that we really need to solve quickly. Thank you.